the biggest challenge that everybody faces right now, from end users to integrators to manufacturers and everybody else in between, is the logistical challenges associated with product availability. Doesn't have to be finished good products. It is more than likely right now challenges related to individual components or pieces of whole products that are holding the delivery of those products up. We hear about it on the news every day. We hear about it every day from customers, whether it's an end user who's asking for updates or an integrator who needs to get something done in a short period of time, or a break fix issue where somebody's got a system that's down and they need a component. It is just a challenge that is quite frankly overwhelming all of us. And with good reason. I mean, again, when a system's down and you got to have it back up and working, we all jump through hoops to try to find, beg, borrow, plead, steal a product that gets somebody's system back up and running. So let's chat a little bit about that and kind of talk about with some of the things that we're doing at Mid-Chess, as well as some of the manufacturers that we work with, that we're doing to try to best overcome what challenges we face and how customers can help us along the way as well in terms of solving that problem.
The biggest thing is, we always say is, what's the key to business success? It's communication. So one of the biggest things that anybody that has an order that they even know they're going to get is communicate it with us. Let us know so we can let the manufacturers know that, hey, there's going to be an order for 10, 100, 1,000 of XYZ, so they can hopefully get prepared for the influx of that order before it's an order. Because if it's an order, we all know what happens then.
Honestly, I think that the challenge starts well before then. When you're quoting a project and when you're thinking about quoting a project and when customers are asking you about it, we need to be involved. And that's why it's super important that, from our perspective, that you call the office or you call one of us and you let us help you do a quote, put the parts list together. You can communicate at that point how urgent the thing is. Maybe there's product that we know there's in stock that we can use to make sure that we're quoting the right thing from that perspective. But if nothing else, the further ahead we know about projects and the more we know as customers get updates about the project, whether it's an end user who's calling us saying that they're looking for funding or they're getting funding or whatever, setting expectations at every level in terms of when will the product be delivered. That starts as early on as the quoting cycle, or even the time when somebody's trying to figure out what product to quote in the beginning.
Right.
So I think another big thing is finding alternatives, right? I know a lot of people are having issues, and I think that's working with us as well as customer and the end user to finding those alternatives, because sometimes we may have cameras in stock that may not be the best that's out there, but if a customer needs something, we can work with you and find a solution.
Yeah. Yeah, and that goes with all of our manufacturers. It's just not, I know we talk about cameras with Bosch, but from Comnet to Winstead or whatever, is if we know what parameters, what's coming in, again, maybe we're not going to use that specific product or part, but we have an alternative that we can help to get it through, because we're all under the gun, get the job done. The manufacturers want to ship the product. We want to get it to the integrator and dealer. The integrator dealer wants to get it installed. And so many times now, the jobs are getting either 80, 85, 90% done, but there's those 5, 10, 15% of parts they just can't get. And again, if we're involved, and one of the things I know that we were able to help with is, like Joe said, alternatives. So if there's a mount, a bracket, a power supply, a switch, something like that, can we source it? Can we find an alternative? Can we help you find an alternative? There's been occasion where we've actually talked to some engineering companies and some metal fab companies and come up with solutions to kind of circumvent the shortages the best we can, until then you run up against another shortage that you can't control and we go from there. Yeah. But again,
having constant contact with Rick at the office, or Katie at the office, or Gina most assuredly at the office, we are having constant communication with all of our manufacturers from one end to the other on a weekly basis at times, trying to make sure that we keep information flowing both ways. Now, by information flowing both ways, again, it starts at the time that you're thinking about quoting a project, not at the time when an order gets placed. It's too late then, because you're looking for delivery of a product. If we know what you're quoting as well enough ahead, we can let the manufacturers know what's going on, what's coming down the pipe, and if the more updated information as you hear things, or you know that you're going to get an order, or you know that you're going to get funding for a project. Again, keeping that information flowing. We're starting to have, again, constant calls with the manufacturers as well as some of the key integrators. And again, if you are interested in having update calls, please let us know. We can certainly do that with you. It's just getting into a rhythm, getting into a cycle, getting it automated almost, so that the information is flowing both ways. When you find something out, you can send that information into the office, and Gina or one of the other folks can actually get the information transferred to the manufacturer, and then the manufacturer can give her updates on things, and she can get it back. During the call, we can speak more directly about exactly what the possible solutions are, not just screaming and yelling that we can't get stuff and we don't know why, and or giving you the real reasons why we do it.
And I think something else that has helped us, especially with bigger projects, is giving us a list of priority, cameras or devices. Hey, we need X by 4 weeks, or, that way, we're not delivering everything, but we're getting what you need when you need it, so you can continue installing the devices on the project.
I know a lot of my key customers, which I truly appreciate, actually just standardize on product, and it may not be, they pick specific groups of products, and that's the one that they put in everywhere and use for all applications. There's some different varieties here and there, but in the end, it's standard. And so we know that when those folks are out there and they're doing a project, we know that that's going to be the product. There's no guesswork to it. It's all kind of up front. And again, it helps out more now than forever. There's a lot of other reasons that you might want to do that, but it truly helps out now, so especially because we know that those are key devices that we can let manufacturers know that we're going to need for customers.
And again, the communication side of it, the planning side of it, but also, talking with, Bosch, one of our engineering companies and manufacturers, when they could not get any more of the wireless chips, that was basically one of the series cameras has that in. They were able to pretty much on the fly be able to re-engineer it, take that chip out, because they asked the customers, they asked us in the field, they said, if we can provide the camera without it, is that good? And of course, we're in that bind of, we need product. And they were able to work with us and our customers to keep that flow going. Now, not saying there's not going to be a shortage of something else coming down the road, but it got us through really a year that we were able to supply that camera instead of saying, sorry, till next year or the following
Changed the
year.
product, made new firmware, and kept moving.
And I think the key thing was we found out by asking and communicating, again, both ways, that this is a problem, it's going to be a problem. Is it really going to be, is it something that's key to an end user, or key to the integrators for success, or is it not going to cause that big of a deal? And we found out that it wasn't going to cause that big of a deal. There's two other things that I want to cover very quickly, and that is shipping. We all know that shipping now is having a tremendous impact on everything. There honestly is no such thing as overnight anymore. I mean, as much as we can try, overnight now seems to be 2, 3, 4 days or a week sometimes to get product from one place to another. Truly out of everybody's control. It just kind of is what it is. Everybody sees the nightmares on the news about that. The second thing that shipping dilemma has created is the costs have gone up exponentially, and then what that does is have a trickle-down effect. Every manufacturer has been forced to have price increases. And I think the other thing goes back to the line item number one we talked about, which is communication. We do our best to go back and look at quotes that we've done for people and let them know that, hey, there's a big impact coming on a specific part or a specific manufacturer that they're forced to give price increases. We try to communicate that stuff as much ahead of time as we can. It's worked out in everybody's favor that we're able to do that. But again, without that initial communication to us, if we don't know what you're quoting, if we don't know the projects and the sizes and the things like that, we have no idea to call you and tell you that there's going to be a price increase if you're not working with us. So again, it goes back to the communication thing, and that is just, get the information to us as soon as you possibly can, and then, it's going to help across the board, end to end for everybody. So glad we had time to talk about this today. Appreciate everybody's patience with it, because it is a full-time job for everybody in the mid-chest team. I mean, again, it's kind of overwhelmed us a little bit, but we're sticking with it, and it's a big focus, so we'll keep after it for customers.
Remember, you can always reach us at the main office phone number, but also at support@midchest.com.